Right, so in the previous video I covered alpha version of CD8 T cells, and they are, so we've got we have the cytotoxic T cells that contain these receptors, and their function is cytotoxic elimination of the viral particles. Then you move over to exhausted T cells, and they are exhausted because they've been used repetitively in antigen-mediated response for a long while, in multiple antigen-mediated responses. And then you've got the anergic T cell that may have become deactivated or inactivated because of some pathological interference or malfunction of the adaptive immunomodulation mechanism. And then you have regulatory T cells that perform a very vital task of immunosuppression. They're the ones that keep the CD8 and the other T cells in check. And then you've got so for TR1, for one version of regulatory T cells. Then you've got the natural. So these are three types of regulatory T cells: inducible, natural, and the regular one. And then we move over to NKT. That is dimorphic. It's bimorphic because it's bifunctional, if I may say so. It's pro and anti-inflammatory at the same time. So it can, when needed, cooperate with anergic or regulatory T cell, or it can amplify the action of CD8 cells. Now, if we look at the timeline here, we start off with the naive T cells in the thyroid, CD4, cytotoxic, exhausted, anergic, helper, regulatory, memory, NKT, and gamma delta receptor ones, and then CD8 alpha. So these are different kinds. It's not that they get converted into these types. They start off from CD4, CD8, and then that's how they get specialized into different arenas of service for the immunomodulatory mechanism of the adaptive immune system. So CD4, CD8, the most common by percentage in the bloodstream and by virtue of production as a function, And then you've got the helper T cells, regulatory T cells, anergic T cells, memory T cells are the ones that are the reservoir. They have they keep a record of how many illnesses the body's experienced, and then the central memory T cells, yes, and then effector, central and effector, and then you've got the least common gamma delta receptor carriers, and then CD8 alpha carriers. Now, if I just may bring your attention to helper T cells, these kind of helper T. Now, you heard about the NKT, which is bifunctional. You know about regulatory T cells, but the helper kind, it promotes protective immunity against intracellular pathogens by secreting interferon gamma and induce the activation of the granulocytes called macrophages, and upregulation of some chemicals, nitrogen oxygen species, that lead to the oxidative elimination of the pathogen inside the cell without damaging the intracellular components. So it's quite protective, quite intelligent of all the bunch. Then you've got three different versions: TH9, TH2, TH1, and then TH17, 22, and then lastly it's TFH. So it's 6 different kinds of helper cells. Two kinds of CD4, 3 kinds of CD8. Then you've got the exhausted and anergic version as well. The regulatory ones, 3 different kinds. NKT cells, you've got 1 to 2 kinds. So T cells are a very intelligent species, a very intelligent kind of T cells that are responsible for making sure that the body's adaptive immunomodulatory network is flexible, it's energized, and it's to the point, and it's ready for any attack. So thank you very much. I hope you learned something today. Thank you for watching this video.